We came to Europe chasing cannabis culture, but what we found was something different. Secret clubs, no signs, no menus, just a buzzer and a black door. We got invited into a community most people will never see, from underground lounges of Barcelona to the biggest cannabis expo in Europe to the birthplace of rolling papers itself. Where Josh, the owner of Raw, gave me an in-depth tour of rolling paper history. This isn't just about weed, this is about history, craft, culture, and even when it's hidden, the world is still very much alive.
Yo, we're headed to a dope spot right now. Terps Army. These places aren't just smoke lounges, this is a community, but getting in's a whole other story. Come on.
In Spain, cannabis is technically illegal, but behind closed doors, there's a hidden world of social clubs. Invite-only spaces where cannabis isn't sold, it's shared. There are no signs, no menus. You don't find these places, they find you.
Me, Lorenzo, king of the underground.
What's up, man? How's it going? Yes, sir. Yeah, we're here. We're celebrating the culture, the best weed, the best hash, all together from around the world.
Don't let this dude fool you. This is the mayor right here. If you really want to get some shit done, this is the guy. And it makes sense because think about who touches down here in Terps Army. Think about the connections. Think about the amount of people who are smokers. And then think about this is the Mecca. I get hassled because in Barcelona, they're social clubs, right? Or social lounges. In Amsterdam, they're coffee shops. And in California, they're dispensaries. So it's like this little variation of them. People get real uppity if you don't call them the right thing. This is just the tip. We're going to the next lounge. We're joint number 2, getting our mind right. We got a long night ahead. This is just the beginning.
We're on the way to one of the top hidden social clubs in the world, HQ Barcelona. And today they've got a special invite-only event going on. Should be interesting. It's packed. Growers from Cape Town, rosin makers from Dubai, creators from LA. It's not just about getting high. It's about linking up, sharing culture, and pushing craft forward.
This is all underground. Technically in Spain, in Barcelona, it's illegal. So all the social clubs are all underground behind the scenes. It's a black door. You walk in, you get a buzzer, and next thing you know, you enter a different world. So this is the underground technically still. It feels like it. What's so dope about the social clubs in this part of the world, this is a gathering place for the best talent in the world. And the gathering places are the social clubs. You can just feel it. With the minute you walk in, the amount of people and the amount of love that you run into, it just, you know you're in a different place. You get to chat. It's less transactional. It's a dispensary where you walk in and it's like, what do you want here? Good luck, have a good day. You literally get to buy stuff or sit down, smoke your own product. I've had issues in the past with some shops where they look down at you if you bring your own product. It's like, yo, they welcome that here. It's like, this feels like a real community. This is the origins of this whole pass a joint, have a good convo, first smoke of the day. And it feels like it here.
And that vibe, that's what First Smoke of the Day was built on. But everything about Spain's cannabis culture feels different. It's more underground, more community driven, and more protected. But there's still a common thread that ties it back to places like Amsterdam. So we pulled up to La Creme Gracia to chop it up with Mossy Giant, someone who's lived both scenes and built his career inside these clubs. His art lives on the walls, in the smoke, and in the stories he's been documenting for years. We asked him about the difference between Amsterdam coffee shops and Spain's social clubs, but what he said surprised us.
Well, the big difference is that these are social clubs, and in Amsterdam we have coffee shops, but I like to see it more in the similarities. It's places where people can come together, enjoy the sacrament, converse, be inspired by each other. I think it's about the places of communion within these clubs, which is beautiful and should be around the globe. Also in the United States, we should have places like this. It is illegal here, and it's also illegal in the Netherlands. It's just allowed. There's these loopholes that are worked around. And these places still exist. It's under membership, it's private, they cannot do any advertising from the outside, it's very secretive. You walking around the street, there's a door, oh, there's a little fairy tale kingdom back here. Let's see what it is.
It makes you wonder about every door.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow, this is a whole underground culture, a scene, and I mean, it goes for miles. Mossy painted the picture. This scene isn't just about weed, it's about creativity, community, and preserving something sacred. And behind that culture is a system most people don't understand. Most of these clubs aren't on Google Maps, and you don't just walk in. They're private, invite only, protected by the people who built them and the people who still show up every day to keep them alive. Hasher Club is one of the most respected in that circle. So we pulled up to meet Daniel, one of the owners, and get into how these places actually work and why they've lasted this long in a country where cannabis is illegal.
You don't actually sell anything and people don't actually buy anything. It's a system of donation. You donate to the club and the club donates the weed back. It's not fully clear, it's like a gray area in the law. So
They haven't decided to bring any real structure to the system yet, as far as
it's not regulated.
Yeah.
Could be more clear, the law,
Do you think Spain is on track to becoming one of the next global hubs of the cannabis scene?
I think it's already a global hub. Even in Europe, I think it's the main city of cannabis, even though it's not fully regulated, but I think it's already a hub.
We're in here having a great time, man. I don't think we're gonna leave. I'm gonna be honest. They were trying to kick us out after the video was done, and we were like, nah, that ain't happening. We're rolling a few more. We're gonna hang out. DJ's spinning. The smoothies are rolling. Crazy ass Brazilian desserts. I mean, so yeah, we're rolling up some local Spanish grown panna cotta, and we're gonna keep kicking it, but that's a fucking wrap.
The underground scene here in Spain, it's thriving, but it's still in the shadows, unregulated, private, and protected by trust. So when we pulled up to Spannabis, Europe's biggest cannabis expo, it was like stepping into the opposite reality. Crowds, cameras, sponsors, branding everywhere. Same plant, same culture, but this time, everyone's watching.
If there's one place that brings the global cannabis community together, it's Spannabis. This is the Super Bowl of weed.
Some people might think this is just another weed festival, but it's more than that. It's where culture meets business, passion meets pavement, and where years of talking in DMs becomes face-to-face.
4 people leave, 4 people come in. Busiest day I've ever seen it. Busiest cannabis event in the whole world.
It's not just big, it's overwhelming. This is the heartbeat of European cannabis, and today it's pulsing.
This is the guy. This is the guy. Have you heard of Mothership Glass?
One of the guys.
One of the guys.
One of the guys.
He's humble too. Yeah. Oh, dude. What's going on, man? There's a circle of winners right here. Oh, look at that. This guy too, man. Get this guy. Okay, man. You know Mango, man? This is Mango. Let him know. Tell him something, Mango.
Dude, Spannabis, first and last, because they're not going to have it here again, but I made it, baby. I made it.
He's not wrong. Spannabis is called Barcelona home since 2002, but next year it's moving. Smaller city up north, Bilbao. No one knows exactly what that means for this scene here, but in a city that's quietly been one of the most respected cannabis cultures in the world, feels like a big shift. It's the end of an era, and everyone knows it here. But if there's one thing Spannabis proves, it's that culture keeps moving.
So we got Roach,
What's up, man? What's up? How we doing?
and I already know you know where he's from. He's a Jungle Boy. This is LA.
Yep.
We got Ivan in the background hanging out,
What up?
and there's some flame on the menu right here.
In Spain.
In Spain, some flame in Spain, baby. Flavors on flavors. This isn't just a conference, bro. People from around the world show up, and we get to share our goods. We get to check out what everyone's been working on for the last year. Behind every handshake, there's a nug and a business deal to be made.
Even with all this global hype and thousands of strains under my belt, I'm always looking for the right gas. You already know I'm hunting for that nose-burning OG Kush. And if anybody's got that gas, it's DNA. And when it comes to genetics, trust is everything.
As far as seed makers, these guys have more hit records than almost anybody in the game. This is the first thing you have to ask about your seed maker. It doesn't matter the seed maker. Do I think they actually have access to the genetics that they say they're crossing? I'm very confident in being able to purchase any of their seeds, and knowing exactly what they say they are is what it is. That's not the same with most seed brands. I didn't want to bother you while you were, what's up, man? I need some nose burning OG. I don't want earthy. I don't want sweet. I want remember the OGs that when you open the pound, like this part right here, like almost tingles?
Smell that old OG. You're talking. Pick it up.
Yeah,
Pick
yeah.
it up.
Yeah, exactly,
Exactly what you
exactly.
described it.
Yep.
That's
Josh, sticky too, fresh.
We're not talking earthy. We're not talking like that straight gas.
Yeah, I like that. I won't even go in.
Super sick.
Fighting. Can I do 2 packs of the Holy Grail? And let me do 2 packs of the Skywalker.
But if you want to know where genetics are headed, you talk to the people setting the pace. Doja isn't just a name, he's shaping what comes next.
So show us the drop, bro. Show us the drop. What do you got out
Yeah,
here?
so we had the Perma Diesel that already sold out. You know, that was our selection of the Sour Diesel BX1 number 16, reversed to the permanent marker.
Yeah.
So it was a limited drop, only 50 packs for the entire world, sold out.
Bro.
The Butterberry is the pineapple soap number 3 that was pheno hunted by only on Melrose in Bronx, New York. That's the afternoon pineapple that was made by Duke of Herb, and he pollinated a JBZ Sea Junkie, the soap, and that was pheno hunted then in New York, and we took that phenotype back to California, and he hit that with the mochi pollen as well. Now we call butterberry. You're getting like fucking Mastro's butter cake terps off of that one. It's the one, bro. It's got some real cool, obscure, fruity nose to it. That I'm trying to look for different shit right now. Your thing, man.
I'm already staring at seeds, man. I'm looking. I'm drooling on a few of these. I'm like, damn, Skittles coughing candy, Gelato 41 coughing candy. We're in Spain, and you're being able to access genetics that are not over here. Like these are, if anyone has access to the real stuff, it's this guy.
I got everything here is triple verified, and Duke of Doja 2025, man, we're coming hard. Trust it.
Doja is one of those names that carries weight. His booth was definitely a magnet for connoisseurs. But what made Spannabis special wasn't just the heat, it was the range. Spannabis showed us this full spectrum of underground growers to global brands, legacy, and even innovation.
We came in, we smoked a ton of hash holes, we looked at a bunch of seeds. Allegedly, we didn't buy any. I seen friends I haven't seen in 15, 20 years. I saw guys from my Colorado days. I didn't know the market was this big for first smoke of the day in the UK, in Switzerland, and France. I'm meeting people all over that are literally being like, yo, I love the podcast. Okay, like it doesn't reflect that in the stats, but in person it does. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, you thought it was over. No, it's not over. We're flying out to Alcoy, Spain to link up with Josh from Raw Rolling Papers. We're going through the factory. We're doing a podcast live in the factory. First one they've ever done. And you already know we're gonna try some papers that I've never seen before, that we haven't seen, that no one's seen. So yeah, it's not over yet. Come on.
But before we moved on, we had to take it in. In a world where cannabis still lives in the shadows, Spannabis is the loudest statement Europe's ever made. Every booth, every handshake, every strain, it's all part of a scene that's still fighting to be seen. And with this being the last time Spannabis is being held in Barcelona, it felt like something bigger. Like we were witnessing the end of an era and the start of what's next. A culture still in the shadows, but more alive than ever. But now we're exploring something so deeply embedded in the culture, it's almost invisible. Rolling papers. Not just how we smoke, but how the underground has always passed the flame. And here in Spain, it all started in a small city of Alcoy, the birthplace of rolling paper and the origin of the modern paper industry. There are probably hundreds of abandoned rolling paper factories scattered across the region, but we're following Josh through a few of his favorites, the ones time hasn't fully taken.
This is Moli Sol. This was the mill that made the rolling papers that went up to La Station. So this made the base sheet, and it would be sent from here to the train station. The train station factory. Now, Lance, this would have been part of the older mill, probably looking like 1500s, and there's some, as you come up from there, it's gonna be 1600s. 1800s is when that the chimney was added.
1500s.
Yeah, it goes on. I'm not sure if this part was 1500s or further down. This is what Gabrielle was showing me, different pieces where there was just like, holy crap, there's
but
something
15,
left.
16, 1700s.
Yeah, yes, and you can, if you look at the beams and the architecture, it's how you can start to see the age of things.
Look at some of the original wood beams, and then they replaced them with metal. Look at that.
Yeah, I know.
Think about 200 years ago, what it would have been like here, horses and buggies. Just a different time and a place, all about rolling papers. Imagine planes flying overhead and they're dropping bombs as they're manufacturing rolling papers here. Here's the bomb shelter they used to run into. Pretty crazy history.
But I've learned so much in here. We once found the remnants of a rolling paper booklet glued to the wall of a worker's locker inside of there. So you find these really cool little remnants. And this was a pulping mill, this part here, and the pulp would go back and forth from what you read on that sign back there that we came up through, between this mill and another one a little bit further down called Moli Pont, both of which were from Jose Laporta.
What's one of your favorite parts about exploring? Like, is there something of the exploring part that you really enjoy?
Yeah, it's feeling that connection with people that did the same thing that I did a zillion years ago. You know what I mean? I know they were right here, and I know they felt the same way I felt. You just get that feeling of continuum, you know what I mean? Like that, oh man.
Cool to think like 300 years ago there was a guy doing this.
Yeah. Perfecto.
Spain has been at the heart of rolling culture for centuries. And while some ignited into global brands like Raw, some were lost to time.
Others were lost to time.
Yeah, there we go.
Right?
Others were.
And this place is one of them. It's an abandoned rolling paper factory built by an architect named Timoteo, who designed what I believe is the most beautiful rolling paper factory that ever existed. And it's gone. The brand's gone, the building's mostly gone, but the facade remains, and the memory remains, and the lessons, and that's the point.
Yeah, the love.
Yeah, everything that guy has put into it is probably in almost every sheet that everybody smokes today, regardless of where it comes from.
Wow.
And you can see the goal was to inspire the rolling paper workers to feel like they're entering a place of, like a majestic place, a place where they would really truly give their best and make an even better rolling paper. And so he had the outside, and this is back when things were very, very expensive and most people didn't really care. He had the outside made this beautiful, just to give that mental inspiration as you went inside to realize that you were coming in to do something that was very, very important. Oh, there's nothing left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was like more of a finishing factory where you would, like my factory, where you would make the booklets and that sort of thing. And the reason why they call it the train station is because of what's right over there, which is, it was a train station. Because you'd finish up your booklets and then they'd load them onto a train and send them on their way. The part about it is when you look at the rolling paper factory and you're laughing, this is older than America.
Yeah.
That's the part where it's like, and yet it's not even the oldest one, right? So it's like, I like it.
Factories like this may have been shut down, but Spain's legacy never stops in the rolling paper business. That tradition continues at such a high level at the raw paper factory right here in Spain.
This is where my mentor was Jose Emilio. And Jose Emilio, he told me this was the first factory he ever worked in, so he remembers when it was operating. I'm like, cool. I can't imagine what that was like. In the wall here, that's the safe from when how they paid the workers. Kind of no different than a dispo nowadays, right? Okay, up on top you can see those are the old water collectors. So what happens is the machine's in here and you have all this water. It would go up on the top and condensate and drip down onto the machine and ruin the paper. So they invented these types of collectors that would collect the water and run it off to the side to be recaptured and used. So what you want to do is take it out and then you would put it into this area where the baton would hit it. The baton was this giant hammer. And again, it would be powered by in early days by the river, later on by steam. But it's this giant thing would come up, bam, bam, bam.
How crazy is this?
Hollister is my favorite place to smoke on the entire planet. Right here. I try to pay homage to the ancestors and the ghosts.
Yes.
And it's just wild that you're smoking on top of a couple 100-year-old freaking paper factory, you know?
What does this mean for you, Josh, when you're able to be at that factory that's like
it just makes me recognize how incredibly small I am. Like incredibly small. Like one little tiny itsy bitsy link in a huge chain. You're driving past. Imagine if you went past the graveyard of everyone who had done what you did before you on your way to work and on the way back home. Changes your perspective. You no longer feel like you're that important, or you're that great or anything. You're like, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, it all ends up like this. So you do the best you can to be the best link in the chain you can, and knowing full well someone's coming after you, and hopefully they'll be even stronger. This is the old bamboo factory, and this is where my journey really begins, because raw would not exist if it wasn't for this place here. This was destroyed through litigation, mostly, and other issues too, I'm sure, in the 80s. But by destroying this, it allowed me to exist. Because if this was not destroyed, I wouldn't be here, like raw.
Oh, wow.
It would never exist. When this was closed, the old factory manager, one of the factory managers, Jose Emilio, bought some of the machines that he could afford, and he moved them to a secret location that he didn't want anyone to really know about, as secret as he could make it anyway, which was in Muro de Alcoy, supposedly, and then he moved it to where we're about to go over here in Benimar Full, and he moved it to multiple locations in Benimar Full, until eventually it got sold to my family. So I'm connected to this, we're all connected to this, but Alquería de Aznar, this was their most important industry.
But how crazy is that history gets destroyed over competition sometimes, and this is definitely historic.
But it doesn't really end. So the end of bamboo is the birth of raw and elements and juicy J's and so many other things.
What's your feelings on some of the other companies that came before you?
I love these guys. Yeah. I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for bamboo. So how could I hate them? It's like hating your dad. No, I'm good. You know?
The past has its place in the ruins, but the future lives right here. After tracing the roots of rolling paper culture, Josh brought us to where it all led, raw.
Welcome to our humble abode. Now I can't believe that it belongs to my family. It's impossible, you know what I mean? It makes it where you can't really believe it. So you kind of get like, okay, you just kind of stumble through it as if you're walking through a dream. That's the only way I can describe it. And now this is where the camera has to stop.
We came to Spain to uncover the hidden cannabis culture, and what we found was way deeper than what we imagined. From secret social clubs tucked in alleyways, to global expos that felt like resistance disguised as celebration, to abandoned factories where workers once risked everything just to keep the smoke alive. We saw a movement built on passion, a culture that's still in the shadows, but more alive than ever. And this was just one place, one country, one story. There are underground scenes like this all around the world, and we're gonna find them. But before we leave Spain, we've got one last stop, the most iconic rolling paper factory on the planet, the birthplace of Raw. Hit subscribe, hit like, show us some love, and hit fsotd.com for more.